Guys, welcome back to another Reasonings blog. We discuss the topics of the day and we also discuss current affairs. Now, as you know, I've been writing a blog called Carli's Choice, and it's about Carli. Carlisia James, a young lady who, is going through different changes, just, going off to college and meeting people, and meets someone who she's very much interested romantically in, but the young man says that he is celibate. He's a Christian, and he's made a vow to not have sex until he is married. Right? In the past couple of days, I've been hearing the story about a young lady, a student, I guess a teenager in high school who has been assaulted or raped by 7 other teenagers, I guess, from the same school. I will not disclose the name of the school, but yes, that is something that I've been picking up on my radar. But let me briefly explain why the whole concept came about pertaining to Carli's choice and the whole topic of celibacy. Well, Christian, their whole tenet and precepts is based on, or the lifestyle that they live is based on the principles and the teachings of the Bible, more specifically the teachings of Jesus Christ. And I am a Christian, and I believe wholeheartedly in the Bible and the teachings of the Bible. And so, getting married or being married before engaging in any sexual activity is something that I highly and totally endorse. But I wanted to create a story that was based on, the whole coming of age, of knowledge, of knowing oneself and understanding life, and, crossing over from childhood into adulthood. And of course, one of the ways of doing that is, to get our main character, Carli, into a romantic relationship. And of course, the object of her desire is Mr. Jason. But I wanted to bring some nuance into the whole dynamic of relationships. It's not just about, sex. There's more to a relationship than sexual relations. And of course, sex does rear its head in the discussion of dating, courting, and intimacy. But I wanted there to be some sort of conflict or challenge, right? And so the whole aspect of wanting to be in a relationship with someone, but this individual is bound by a vow of celibacy that they've made after becoming a Christian, and wanting to keep that, to fulfill that, to honor his relationship with God, and also do the right thing in that regard. But also he finds himself romantically involved with Carli, and there's that conflict and that struggle in that dynamic where he has to navigate between his loyalty to his God and this newfound relationship and affection that he has that's growing for the main character. And then of course the story deals with how she is dealing with that conflict that he has and her own concept of relationship and coming of age and understanding life and so on. So the story will definitely continue to be interesting as it goes along. You know, the whole news about the young girl and the young men that did what they did, it grieves my heart. I am very hurt about that. You know, I'm not just thinking about the physical aspect of the fact that 7 of them, I guess, you know, had sex with her, or I don't know how many got the opportunity to have sex with her, but they took turns to have sex with her. I'm also thinking about the fact that psychologically, what sort of effect that can have on her. You know, it's a very disturbing thing to hear, and of course, a lot of disturbing things have been coming out of the schools lately about, you know, young boys being stabbed, being beaten up by their peers, and all sort of things are going on. And it grieves my heart to hear all of these things. You know, I know that in the whole new age, the concept of sexual education, they say, well, you know, you have to teach them how to use a condom. You have to teach them how to, you know, understand their sexual desires and their sexual health, and prepare, and their reproductive rights is to, you know, introduce condom use to them from as early as maybe 16, 15. You know, once it is perceived that they're having sexual intercourse. But my thing is, the first and foremost thing that any young girl or any young man should have in the back of their mind, and the forefront of their mind, is to respect self and to respect others. You know, respect yourself, that you would not just go and have sex with, you know, Ishi, and, you know, James, John, and Joseph, and then Paul, and then Simon, and then Mark, or to have sex with, you know, Trudy, Tina, Patrice. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's more about appreciating who you are, and the only way I think anybody, as a young person, can really do that is to understand that they're fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God, and so therefore their bodies, which God Himself created through the process of reproduction, of course, it's not to be used to do stuff like what I'm hearing that the young lady and the young men got caught up in. It's supposed to glorify God. And of course, your body and your mind can be utilized in much more productive ways. You know, they're students, so they should be studying. They should be thinking about career and the future in terms of what they will be doing as a career, you know, as adults, and what they'll be doing in terms of, you know, making their family proud and themselves proud. So, you know, to be caught up in a situation in this, wherever they were, place, doing what they did, you know, highly disappointing. And I grieve for the young men and for the young lady, you know, because, you know, there is a spiritual aspect to intimacy that people fail to recognize, you know. Science, and of course a physical aspect. Scientists have just found out that you can, when a man's sperm enters a woman's body, they are basically linked for life, you know, especially if the sperm is involved in creating a new life. I can't pronounce the name, but they've basically found out that if a man has sex, unprotected sex with a woman, and they create a new life, you know, in her womb, the father's DNA, you know, gets somehow, and the child's DNA somehow becomes permanently a part of the woman's DNA. I don't remember the name. I can't pronounce the name properly, but I will definitely put the name at the bottom of this video in the comment section, so that you can get the name and whatever links to the research. But it is a known fact. So when the Bible says that two become one, I mean, The Bible doesn't always give you like the intricate details of things, but when the Bible says, it is for your own good that you abstain from fornication, it's from your own good for your own good that you avoid adultery, it's for your own good to be married, stay with that one person, you know. Science is just catching up to what God was already saying all along, to become one. So there's an exchange of DNA, and I think there's also an exchange of energy. Who knows? But definitely there's an exchange of DNA, and we have to acknowledge that fact. So I think for me, there is the whole aspect of the shame that will be brought to bear on the young men and the young lady for what they did, but also the psychological aspect of what the young lady endured, as well as the fact that there might be some psychological trauma for the young men as well. I've heard that 3 of them have been arrested, and I suppose they'll be charged if they've been found to actually be the ones who did what was seen on the video. I have not seen the video, so don't ask me anything about it. I've not seen the video. But it's really a sad situation, and I think definitely too young to get involved and engaged in certain types of activities. So celibacy, it in days past it would have been observed as abstaining not just from sexual relations but from ever being married. But over time, the word being celibate and a vow of celibacy, or being abstaining, has come to be known for as waiting to be married before you have sexual relations with anybody. And I think that's the best way to go, not only to avoid diseases, but all the psychological trauma that comes with premarital sex, as well as if you're especially if you're not with that, you're not having it with the right person, and of course the whole aspect of engaging in sharing bodily fluids, sharing DNA with multiple people, that cannot be good for your own body, your own DNA as well. I'm not here to preach or anything, but something that I think also is important is to remember that sex is predominantly made for the purpose of procreation, creation of a new life, whether people believe that or not. And you want to make sure that whomever you have sex with, it's somebody that you would want to create a new life with, whether it works so that you do have children or not, and of course it's somebody, whether male or female, somebody who's honest and a person of integrity. So there's less emotional trauma in your life if you choose one person to be with who you can trust, who you love, and who loves you and treats you well. So the whole dynamic of knowing and understanding who you are and what you want in a relationship is very important. And Carli and Jason get to explore that as well in the story as it continues. Thank you for listening to this post, and I'm hoping that you will tune in for others.